Welcome to the launch of the FAI Strategy 2022 to 2025, and thank you for joining us at this virtual event as we look to the next 4 years and beyond for Irish football. In a moment we will hear from our President Gerry McInerney, but first let's remind us who we are and why we are here in this, the centenary year of the Football Association of Ireland. Some great imagery there from the past as we celebrate the centenary of the Football Association of Ireland. This FAI strategy for 22 to 25 will of course serve as the blueprint for the next 4 years and beyond for Irish football. So let's hear now from our President Gerry McInerney in a message recorded at Turner's Cross in Cork.
It is a great honour and privilege for me as President of the Football Association of Ireland to introduce the launch of our FAI strategy 2022 to 2025 in this, our centenary year. In formulating the strategy we are about to present to you, we have consulted with the football community throughout Ireland, along with other stakeholders including UEFA, FIFA, government and our staff, about what the Football Association of Ireland needs to do to grow the game for all of us who play and love football in this country. The publication of our strategy is the beginning of a new era for the development of football in Ireland, on and off the pitch. Much progress has been made in the past 2 years to put our association on a sound footing and create the platform for all of us to begin to think about how football can be developed to achieve its full potential in Ireland. As President, I can promise you that this strategy will be a live document that will provide a blueprint for the development of our game. The strategy includes key indicators and targets which we will use to track our progress. We will report to you, the members, regularly on progress and encourage members to hold the board and the executive to account for the achievement of the targets. Finally, the board must lead on this implementation of our strategy. The ambitious goals that we have set will only be achieved if all parts of our game recognise the opportunity that this strategy presents and work together with us for the betterment of the game. I look forward to engaging with you over the coming months and years as we roll out this strategy together. Ní neart go cúr le chéile, gur míle maith agaibh go léir.
Very shortly, I will ask our CEO, Jonathan Hill, to introduce the FAI strategy for 22 to 25. But first, let's take a look at the pillars that this strategy is built upon. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our CEO, Jonathan Hill.
Thank you, Carl. As Chief Executive of the FAI, I'm delighted to present to you our 4-year strategy across 2022 to the end of 2025, the document that will shape the future of Irish football for the next 4 years and beyond. We are the biggest participation sport in Ireland, and this is our strategy, our future together. As you'll see from the strategy document and from the slides to follow now, we're looking to build a new future for Irish football and for the FAI together. An exciting future, we hope. And this strategy belongs to us all. And I ask you now to work together, to come together as never before, to deliver on the promises here and the targets contained in the strategy document. And I think we owe that much to the nation and to Irish football. So, what are we looking to achieve over the next 4 years and beyond? Our vision is to use football to inspire the nation and to connect communities. No other sport can inspire the entire nation to hold its breath, as we know from the rich history of Irish football, a history we're celebrating in this, our centenary year. Likewise, our game reaches into the heart of every community in the country. We can bring Ireland together like no other sport. Our purpose is to enrich the lives of all through positive football experiences, to utilise our game for the benefit of all of our players and stakeholders across all facets of our sport. It doesn't really matter if you're Seamus Coleman playing at the Aviva Stadium, a young girl playing at Bushy Park, or an older man enjoying walking football in Phoenix Park. Our sport can and will enrich lives like no other. So how will we achieve all of this? Our mission is spread across 6 strategic pillars and will be realised by 5 enablers, all designed to improve Irish football for our players, our fans, our coaches, our administrators, referees and volunteers. So, over the next 4 years, we will 1. Transform football facilities and our infrastructure to provide high quality, safe and accessible facilities for all who want to play football. Secondly, we will drive grassroots football as the heart of the game by harnessing the power of our clubs within their communities. Thirdly, we will nurture football pathways for all to offer everyone the opportunity to realise their football dream regardless of age, ability or gender. Then we are looking to develop the full potential of football for women and girls and grow the game on and off the pitch. We also want to frame a new future for our League of Ireland and build on the momentum sweeping through our men's and women's national leagues most recently. Finally, we will build for international success and offer all of our players and coaches the very best opportunity to qualify for tournaments at all age levels. And we will work towards these goals by the following enablers. Firstly, building a best-in-class, fit-for-purpose organisation. Secondly, embracing all digital technologies. Thirdly, continuing to build a trusted and respected brand. Fourthly, and most importantly, I guess, is driving investment to achieve this strategy. And then finally, developing a collaborative and inclusive culture for everyone within Irish football. So now let's have a closer look at the pillars that will drive our strategy moving forward. Our first objective is to transform football facilities and infrastructures. Players and coaches today demand and indeed deserve the very best facilities to train and to play on. And supporters demand comfort when they watch their football. And so it's imperative that we do all we can to deliver those facilities. There are a number of key areas for us to work on, including working with central and local government on a long-term investment strategy and exploring all funding opportunities to improve those grassroots and League of Ireland facilities. We need to support our affiliates, leagues and clubs, and especially those clubs who have reached club mark status, to develop their own localised plans for infrastructural development. And we'll be working with central and local government and our partners at UEFA and FIFA to improve training ground facilities for our League of Ireland clubs as we seek to further develop young Irish talent at home. And we are wholly aware of the practical challenges in sourcing and driving this investment. But we are totally committed to taking our vision to central government and those other stakeholders to positively and confidently make our case. But we all recognise this will be an ongoing project. Secondly, we have the commitment of the board and the FAI to drive grassroots football as the heart of the game in Ireland, as we look to build on our status as the most popular participation sport in the country. We have a duty to grow our game for all of our players. For those inspired by Stephen Kenny's exciting young players at international level, for those girls who dream of emulating Katie McCabe at Tallaght Stadium, and for those involved with Football for All, as well as those in the educational system, and especially those in the recreational football space, who simply want to play their game to the best of their ability. We'll achieve this in a number of areas, but to point out a few. We will attract, develop and retain players, coaches, referees and volunteers, and we will work together to ensure they are all treated with the respect they deserve in whatever part of the game they operate. We will especially work with our primary and secondary schools and our third-level institutions to provide all of our teachers and students with access to play football and to learn through our sport. And as noted, we will embrace recreational football and work with all of our partners across that area to ensure everyone who wants to play football in whatever manner they want can do just that. This leads on to our third strategic pillar, which is our player pathways. And we must all work together and forget our past differences, allegiances to ensure we enable every player, coach, referee and volunteer, regardless of that age, ability or gender, to access the opportunity to reach their full potential and enjoy their football in a safe and supportive environment. This will require a lot of open debate, a lot of soul-searching and indeed some sacrifices in the coming months and years, but all will be necessary to ensure we offer all of our players, but particularly our younger players, both boys and girls, the best platforms to improve and perform to the best of their ability. For our most talented young players, that is even more significant now as we come to terms with the realities of Brexit. Areas we can work on and improve include the consultation process with all affiliates, leagues, clubs and players to create a comprehensive Irish football pyramid that will align all areas of our game, including the introduction of a third tier to the League of Ireland. Also, we will look at the development of clearly defined and seamless player pathways that are understood across the whole of the game, from grassroots through to the League of Ireland and beyond. We will maximise training and education opportunities for our coaches, for our players, for our referees, volunteers and administrators. And a final objective will be to maximise the opportunities available to our young players via our existing ETB and transition year programmes. As many of you know, our women's game has never been stronger. Katie McCabe and her teammates are an inspiration to every girl in Ireland and deserve every accolade that has come their way in recent times. While our Women's National League is growing and growing in stature and quality. As a board and an association, we are working very hard to ensure that inspiration is matched off the field. The recent agreement on equal pay, the arrival of Sky as dedicated sponsors for our women's national team, along with Cadbury, the sponsorship deals with SSE, Airtricity and Evoke.ie in our domestic game, and the recent live TV coverage of that game with TG Caja are all indicative of the commitment of the FAI and our staff to develop the full potential of football for women and girls in Ireland. It is so, so important for us moving forward. And to achieve that, amongst other things, we must develop and deliver programmes, both in clubs and schools in particular, to attract young girls to our game and work with all involved to ensure we retain those young players and offer them the best opportunities to develop their skills, which in turn will grow participation levels across both girls and women's football. And the opportunity there is huge. Furthermore, we want to identify, develop and promote our most talented female players and coaches through targeted player identification and coach education programs. Finally, we do genuinely want to promote and indeed must have gender balance and provide opportunities to women across all levels of our game, including on the FAI board, certainly within the General Assembly, where we have a goal to have 40% female representation by the end of 2023, across all of our committees, across all of our affiliates, leagues, clubs, and within the FAI organisation itself. Finally, we're looking at investment in and the development of the League of Ireland, which has never been more vital to the future of Irish football. Just look back at the record crowd in the Aviva Stadium for the Extra.ie Men's FAI Cup final between St Pat's and Bohemian. And also remember the excitement when crowds returned to our stadia for the final third of the League of Ireland and Women's National League seasons. Post-Brexit, we have an opportunity now, like never before, to grow the League of Ireland and the Women's National League and to embrace them as uniquely Irish offerings of the world's favourite game. But to maximise that opportunity, we must, amongst other things, be radical, innovative and open in our approach to developing both the Men's and Women's League of Ireland football. And as noted, that may include a new third tier that will spearhead that desire to launch a new pyramid system across adult football. We will work both at adult level and across our EA Sports national underage leagues to properly develop all of our coaching structures. We will work with all our stakeholders to develop a football industry in Ireland that offers our best young talent, be they players, coaches, referees or administrators, the opportunities to further their careers in Ireland within a proper industry structure. Finally, we will maximise the potential of the League of Ireland and Women's National League brands across all of our commercial platforms and work with all of our clubs to improve their standing in their local communities and their interaction with grassroots football in their specific regions and areas. In terms of building for international success, many of you will know that next month we will welcome Belgium to the Aviva Stadium for an international friendly to celebrate the centenary of the FAI. And what perfect opponents they will be as the #1 ranked team in the world in the FIFA ratings. Belgium are actually a role model for any association looking to improve its development structures and player pathways to ensure regular qualification for tournaments and indeed have a competitive edge when you get there. That is the aspiration for all of our Irish international teams, no matter what age group they operate at. We are committed to building for international success and producing competitive international teams who can qualify for tournaments on a regular basis. And to get there, we must build strong and transparent relationships through our international managers and high-performance coaches with grassroots and League of Ireland club staff and volunteers to improve that player development at all ages. We will also commit to delivering the optimum level of on-field contact and playing time for our international players, particularly in this post-Brexit environment. Finally, we need to drive forward our talent ID and scouting operations, both at home in Ireland and abroad, to ensure we identify all qualified players to support our international teams and our future international success. As you may have heard during the consultation period for this strategy, this document will be a living document, one with strategic objectives and key performance indicators that will give the Irish football community confidence that our strategy is being delivered effectively and efficiently. To deliver on this strategy and to realise the potential across every facet of Irish football, we will follow these enablers to ensure that we deliver against our strategic objectives. Firstly, we will continue to build a best-in-class, fit-for-purpose organisation and continue to restore public faith and confidence in the FAI. Secondly, we are looking to embrace all digital technologies to transform the administration of our game and the organisation of it, including a wholly new FAI Net player registration and management system that we believe will be transformational for grassroots football in Ireland. Thirdly, we will continue to build a trusted and respected brand that will echo our standing as Ireland's biggest participation sport. Fourthly, we must drive investment to achieve and deliver against our strategy by maximising all revenues and working both with existing partners and new partners moving forward. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we're looking to develop a collaborative and inclusive culture across all of Irish football that truly embraces our vision and purpose. This strategy and its timing, by its very definition, is for an exciting future for the #1 participation sport in the country. And we should all be proud of the part that we've played in getting to this point and now in shaping that future. Over the next 4 years and the lifespan of this strategy, we have the opportunity and indeed the responsibility to develop, transform and inspire an association that can unite and deliver across all of our pillars for all of our members. This is our strategy. It's yours and it's mine. It's been developed democratically and openly with all of our staff and all of our stakeholders. And as we continue our centenary celebrations of the past 100 years, so we should look forward to the next 4 years, the next decade, and indeed the next 100 years with both optimism and determination. Along with our board and all of our FAI staff, I look forward to working with you to deliver on all of the promises contained in this strategy. Thank you.
Now, to discuss the FAI strategy for 2022 to 2025, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by our Chair, Roy Barrett, Board Member Catherine Guy and our Vice President, Paul Cook. Roy, if I can start with you, what are the highlights of this strategy for you?
Well, I think it's an ambitious strategy, but throughout the development of the strategy and how we will need to implement it, the main feature is that everybody needs to come together. You know, and people need to work together. They need to take responsibility for each part of the game, and as an organisation, we need to take responsibility for the game as a whole. And certainly, as a board, our approach is not to favour one part of the game over the other, but it's clearly to develop all aspects of the game for the benefit of all people within the game, be they volunteers, be they players, referees, coaches, fans. And that's our objective. And through the development of the strategic plan, that's been a core feature. People need to work together and they need to take responsibility. And if they do, then all of the ambitions within the plan have a really good chance of succeeding.
It is, as we've said, a very ambitious plan. How do you propose to fund this?
Well, you know, I think the funding will come, because I think as an organisation what we've tried to do is build trust within the organisation from a low level over the last couple of years. And I think we've achieved that. And as we've achieved that, you know, we've got to a point, with the help of all our stakeholders, particularly government, UEFA, FIFA, and our commercial sponsors and others, to get to a point of financial stability. So we're at that point. Now we need to move forward, and we need to recognise that a core part of the plan will be investment. Investment will come for our game, because this game is the best game in the country. It is the largest game in the country. It's the most supported game in the country. As we build trust in the organisation and what we're about, then the stakeholders to date have been very supportive, and I expect they'll be supportive in the future, be that local government, central government, or commercial sponsors. And as we've evolved through a very difficult time, not only financially, but we've got to financial stability, but also because of the pandemic. There's been so many things that we've missed, but now we have the opportunity to really turbocharge our future. And we now have people who are able to attend matches in the stadium. It was great to see a full house for Portugal. Hope we see a full house for the games through 2022, starting with Belgium. Very confident in our ticketing strategy there, and that will be attractive. And I'm really confident that as people recognise what football stands for, what the FAI can stand for, they will support it.
One of those ambitions, Catherine, is the desire to be fit for purpose and best in class in terms of equality and diversity, etc. What does that mean for you?
So firstly, I think best in class is the right level of ambition for us. We have made a lot of change over the last couple of years, and personally I have been enormously encouraged by the level of support and collaboration from all aspects of the game, from General Assembly right throughout the members, in helping us to get to where we are today. But I think to be best in class, the organisation is going to have to be both efficient and effective. That means we need to put the right structures in place. It means we need to have the right, apply the right principles of good governance around accountability, transparency, democracy. I think that we need to accept that we're not going to get everything right and we're not always going to agree with each other, but that we need to foster and promote open and robust discussion, and we need to do the right things in the right way. To build a stronger and more successful organisation, I think we're also going to have to look at diversity and inclusion, because there is overwhelming evidence to show that organisations that are more diverse and are more inclusive are stronger and more successful. And for FAI, with football having such an enormous reach already, we need to do more to promote it to people who come from different backgrounds. So for younger people, people from minority communities, people with different life experiences that come from different backgrounds, who have so much to contribute and in fact so much to gain from being involved in football. And one aspect of diversity obviously is gender, and we know that we have ambitious but in my opinion achievable targets to have 40% female representation across General Assembly, committees and board by 2023. So that's right in front of us right now, and frankly we have quite a bit of work to do to get there. I think from previous experience, when you talk about addressing gender imbalance, which is what we have been discussing, everybody will agree that it's a good idea, because how can it not be a good idea? It does make sense on so many levels, including, back to what Roy said, on a commercial level. But I think then what often happens is you start to hear the mantra that there simply aren't enough women who have enough skills, experience, time, interest to become involved. And yet there is equally overwhelming evidence that shows that organisations who proactively and enthusiastically address this issue debunk that myth. They make the effort to go out and find and encourage women to become involved. So I know that the women that we need to have involved are out there. I know that we have to do a bit of work to find them and to encourage them to get involved. And I'm absolutely confident that we can do it. And I'm hoping, that across the board, this isn't just a job for the board, this is a job across all of our clubs and all of our affiliates. And I think that is going to be one of the key planks to building a stronger and more successful organisation for the future.
The commitment to governance reform across the association has been recognised by UEFA, for example, with the UEFA Grow Award.
Yeah. But
that commitment must be maintained and indeed improved upon.
Absolutely. So it was great to get the recognition from UEFA, and there has been a lot of change over the last couple of years. And on a personal level, I found it enormously encouraging, the level of support and encouragement that came from the members, that came from General Assembly to get us where we are today. But there is a huge amount more to do. And I think, when you're engaged in a process of change and governance reform, there is the sense that, you update the constitution and then governance is done. But nothing could be further from the truth here. And there's a huge amount of work still to do. So, there's a range of different projects and actions that need to be taken. We need to update the rules and regulations. We need to look at, developing a governance structure which is consistent across the whole organisation, everything from child welfare and safeguarding right up through all of the various policies, rules and regulations that we have. And I think, again, fundamentally governance is about many things, but for me it's about culture, it's about expectations and understanding behaviours, and I think it creates just an enormous opportunity to develop and consistently improve. And any organisation worth its salt is always reviewing and monitoring this. They're always keeping an eye on it. It is never something that's done. So on a personal level, I think there is a lot more to do, and I know it's irritating because implementing and developing new rules and processes can be a pain, to be blunt about it. But once the teething pains are gone through, life can just just be so much simpler afterwards, because then everything is clear. Everybody knows what to do, how to do it, and what behaviours are expected. So I think the opportunity over the next couple of years is frankly exciting, and I would really love to see us get to the point where we are genuinely regarded as best in class. That would be a phenomenal achievement.
For you, Paul, you've been across Irish football in many guises. You've been a commercial sponsor, you've been involved in grassroots, you've been involved in the League of Ireland. What's different about this strategy?
What is different about this one, I think, is the level of consultation that has gone in. You read the start of the document, 9 town hall meetings, 44 written submissions. People have been consulted. You then read the document, look at the words in the document. They're talking about consult, develop, engage, work with, collaborate, all consultation, all around that piece. And again, I think it alludes to what Catherine spoke about, where she was talking about, governance, transparency. It ties into that. It was a transparent process where people were involved in it. The other point I would make different with it, you look at the targets and goals. You take even the financial one, financial stability. It mentions having €6 million in the bank. That has a good financial position to put yourself in, that you have that money in the bank. You're not going to be worried. So it's key attainable goals and open and consultation process.
You've seen many changes in your own business career across the media, and one of the areas that's touched upon in the strategy is digital transformation. What does that mean for the FAI?
I think what it means, the key to me about what it means for the FAI is, get to know our audience, having greater engagement with our audience through social media channels, developing those channels so we know the people that either play football, support it, attend games, referees, whatever, have an engagement. So that is a two-way process where we listen to them. Equally, they hear from us. We have a method of communicating with our customers, and from that we can build a brand that sponsors want to engage with.
Thank you all for your contribution to this launch. If you want to download the strategy, it's available at strategy.fai.ie, and if you'd like to ask us any questions or you have any queries, please email us strategy@fai.ie. And we're joined on stage now by our CEO, Jonathan Hill. Jonathan, what's next for the strategy?
Well, the most important thing to say that this is the start of the strategy itself. So this becomes a live and working document now. It's not something that we put away into a drawer and don't refer to. It's something that we live and breathe by and we work against on an ongoing basis. So that's incredibly important, not just for all of the staff within the FAI itself, but for everyone within the wider football community. And we will review our progress not just across the whole of the 4 years through to the end of 2025, but on an annual basis. We'll report back to the FAI board accordingly, and we'll report back to all of our stakeholders as well.
And as we say goodbye to the centenary in June, this is very much an exciting period and the start of a very exciting future.
Exactly, and this isn't just about the next 1 year or the next 4 years. To a degree, this is setting us up for success for the next 100 years as well. We're incredibly excited about that prospect. And look, having said what I said earlier in relation to consulting with all of those various people across the Irish football community, be they volunteers, be they administrators, be they referees, the most important thing in this strategy is that we are looking to improve the lot of our players. This is about playing football, the simple joy of playing football. And we hope that this strategy gives us a roadmap and a vision to be able to achieve the best that we can for all of our players within Ireland.
And finally, Jonathan, an awful lot of hard work has gone into this document.
Absolutely, and that's been across the whole of the FAI staff, the FAI board, and across the whole of the Irish football community, and we couldn't have put the strategy and the document together without all of their help. I am reminded of the words of our president, Jerry McInerney, who tells me on a regular basis that together we are stronger. I do believe that, and together we can move forward purposely and positively into a new future for Irish football.
And finally, on the day that's in it, on behalf of the Football Association of Ireland, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family of David Blood, our former president from 2005 to 2010, and a man who dedicated his life to Irish football. May he rest in peace.